job, Fremantle.
Hardly ever capitalise on Sandilands completely because everyone knows what's happening, I think. He could go forward later. We could see Clark up on the ball. Now with Bradley sidelined. Out of the middle, this is Cunnington to Anthony. Slips a hand pass back to McMahon. One expects North to go stronger in this half. Petrie, virtually unsighted. Took a pretty heavy fall there. That hurt him initially. That's him bouncing around like fish on dry land. We'll have a bounce at the interchange gates. Umpire Jeffrey. So North not too impressive, but still pretty close and quite capable of winning from here. Harvey gets it from Anthony, goes back to McMahon. McMahon to Thompson. Thompson to Anthony, just backward of the wing. He goes high down towards half forward.
Tarrant held on to by Dawson. He's a bit stiff. Pearce, well played Duffield, because it wasn't a great handball, but Duffield did well. And then Mundy's kick to Fife was impressive. Fife quickly away, gets the ball to half forward. Ballantyne, that's a great mark. And he was off, Atley. He was off. And Clark's got him. Atley had to release it. Ballantyne couldn't fish and find it in the end. Good tackle by McMahon. Is he into the back? Well, it's going to be, what's it going to be? It's going to be a battle for the footy still. Still not quite coming up. We get back to where we started. Atley with the football, and as cool as you like out to Swallow. Just a little fumble himself. So 19 disposals now for the captain. Petrie looks like he's up the ground a bit here, Tim. He's not out of the goal square for the moment. McFarlane with him. Now he's got Mzungu. McFarlane, well, Petrie's taken the mark. Has he started higher, do you think, Petrie?
I think he's just pushing up higher up the ground, just trying to create some more space behind him.
Maybe to get a kick too.
Yeah, it mightn't be a bad option. Get him up on the ball on Sandilands, run Sandilands around. There goes the kick, close to the boundary. Harper edged out of it. They're very adept at doing that, aren't they? Running players off the line of competing, and McFarlane virtually, like a number before him, able to take an easy mark.
They do it as well as any side in the competition.
Goes down towards half forward, getting a fist in there, McMahon. Close to the boundary line, just pushed across. That was right, and they'll have a boundary throw in. 43 plays 34. Early going third term at the Dome. Roof is closed. Much better spectacle with the roof closed. Sun can be a problem. Not that there's much sun around outside. Another ball up from umpire Schmidt this time.
So just a little bit of sparring going on early here. Not many inside 50s in the first 2 or 3 minutes of this second half. Low scoring game. You think that would suit the Dockers if they can hold it that way. Fife couldn't break through. Clark.
Good tackle.
It was a good tackle. Petrie. So he's certainly in the thick of things, Petrie, at the start of this quarter. That squirms out that ball, and then Anthony just shoves it along the line. Tarrant and Dawson. Gee, Johnson did well there, just couldn't quite control it. He'll get it back. Fife was fantastic in close. Mundy off a step. Clark onto it. Gee, Mundy, he's good in heavy traffic as well. So Clark 70 metres from goal. And then a casual kick, not a good one, to centre half forward. Crowley did well. Quick hands by De Boer. Ballantyne, well, he doesn't get enough on it. The ball bouncing. North have got numbers back. Swallow under the pump. He sort of got a foot on it into the end. That was clever by Barlow to Ballantyne, hooking back to a dangerous spot. But in the end, it was Zeeble who was in the right spot.
Goes out wide, Anthony. Fremantle has a bounce, runs it up towards the wing. Oh, very lucky there. Eventually got it to the target who was the intended initially, and that's Cunnington. Went down, but not before he got the ball in the direction of Hansen. Hansen towards half forward. McFarlane's been terrific. Got boot to ball. Mundy, a lot of the football. Fife, they've had him under tight wraps today. Bastanak in the opposite direction towards half forward. The mark is taken by Tarrant. Petrie is running back deep. Kick goes wide of Petrie. And the mark is taken by Hansen. Well, Tarrant read it beautifully. I thought he was going to go to Petrie. Obviously spotted Hansen with some ground on the man that was marking him, running back inside that 50. That's lucky. That's good. So Lockie Hansen, very quiet. Only one kick, in fact 2 this afternoon. The 2 of them have been goals. 2 of the 3. So the margin is back to just 3 points now, and Fremantle so good for so long in the first half will be tested now. Just get the feeling North Melbourne have so much self-belief, a bit like watching Hawthorn last evening. And they kept on coming because they simply believe in themselves. Well, this winning record since that game in Launceston for North Melbourne indicates they're of much the same belief.
So Hansen, as Dennis said, not much of the ball, but 2 of the 3 kicks goals. That was not a hard shot, but he's been very accurate this year. 12 goals won from set shots.
His last 17 goals, 100% accuracy.
Gets him in close, I think, which is a good thing, isn't it? Here's Spur. Gets a bit on it. It's a wobbly, hard ball. Well played by Walters. Got rid of McMahon. That's not easy to do. Forced to play on, like the kick off the boot. De Boer running hard. He was a goal kicker last week, De Boer, in a fairly low-scoring game against Richmond. And this would be a great reply if he could slot this through. He's kicked 3 goals in his last 2 matches, De Boer. He's sort of a good defensive forward, isn't he? I mean, he can do a job on a player. He needs to goal here. 35 metres out. Very, very true. And that's an important kick. So the biggest margin's been 19. North got it back to within a kick, and within a minute, the Dockers just edge away again. Gee, Walters has been important. That was a really good one-on-one mark, wasn't it? And then a lovely way to kick to De Boer.
It was just really smart use of the body there.
Yeah.
Just to hit him at the right time, just move him off the ball, doing nothing illegal. And then he was called to play on, but the kick was precise.
So the Dockers get it back to their half-time lead. Up by 9. Sandilands, so hard to combat in this situation. Belatedly went up and still won it down to Mundy. Chopped off by Zeeble, though well played. Petrie wheels around, having taken the mark. Kicks long towards full forward. Some holding down there on Tarrant, surely. No free kick. Comes to Thomas. Thomas has become a dead-eye dick. Puts it through. Oh, terrific by North. Thomas gets his second.
Well, Dennis, this is exactly what North want. Goals. That sounds silly, but I mean a goal-scoring quarter.
Yeah.
Just tick the scoreboard over. They don't mind if Freo kick goals, as long as they can get goals. Bit of a blue going on here. But the more open this game becomes, the better for North Melbourne, isn't it?
And the way they got that too. I mean, Petrie leading up the ground, we haven't hardly seen that at all this afternoon. And then he just turned and kicked to the spot, and that put their defence under enormous pressure.
Crowley's got a blood nose out of all this.
He did, and you see Dawson there, trying to grab hold of his direct opponent. I mean, they were at 6s and 7s, the defence, for one of the first times today, but that was because of the quick movement.
So a quick reply to the quick reply. Thomas with 35 goals. So he's had a really good year. There's a lot of small forwards doing well again this year. Milne the best of the lot in terms of goals scored. Ferrito, good marks against Subban. Atley, this is his trademark. Times the kick. McFarlane couldn't quite. North, well, Harper's had a quiet one so far. He can have those sort of days and then burst. Waiting for it, Spur. Now he dragged it in, Spur. I reckon he's gone. I reckon he should be gone here. He dragged it in. He made a very silly decision, the young fella there. What's this?
The North Melbourne player did. North Melbourne player helped him.
He dragged it in. He had the binoculars on him.
No, I'd like to have a look at that again. I reckon.
I'm happy if you do.
Let's have a replay of that.
I
actually think that was a contributing factor of the you see, just an undisciplined play here down the square.
North are going to be in front. Lindsay Thomas, eh? Is it Lindsay Thomas who's got the free?
I'm not sure what they're doing here, Bruce. I think it might be...
It's a blood rule again for Thomas.
So Harper's carried the football down to the square.
Okay. Kicks the goal, Harper. North hit the front. They were there early on, weren't they, with McMillan's goal. Well, whether we believe in the decision or not, poor old Spurs given up a couple of goals today. I mean, that's a hard call on him there because there was a 50-metre penalty, not against him. But
just watch this again. There he goes to ground. He goes to drag it, and it was Harper's hand that actually dragged the ball underneath him.
I'm not conceding. I can see what you say. Spurs still dragged it in.
Oh, we're going to have to agree to disagree.
We will. Not the first time.
Not the first time. Won't be the last.
I'm with you, Timmy.
Thanks, McKirky. There's a free kick in the goal square, and that's clearly from Johnson over Thomas's shoulder, and that's why he got the 50-metre penalty. They just need to calm down a little bit here, Fremantle. They've been good for so much of this game. They don't want to be giving up soft goals in this critical third quarter.
Sandilands, to no avail really, just tapped it at his feet.
Dennis Ross is listening to you. He's put Petrie into the ruck and Goldstein's gone forward.
One of the more difficult sides to score against Fremantle when you even get the ball inside their defensive 50, but they've only gone in 3 times this quarter. North Melbourne have scored goals each time.
I mean, Brad there, I think, Kirky. I'm not sure that Ross has that power. He'd love it. Just get the whiteboard from North and move a few around. Thompson stood up in a tackle. Ackley's in trouble as well. Down he goes. Must make an attempt, which he did. And the umpire will move in and ball it up about 45 metres out. So this game has lifted in intensity, and suddenly it's the way North like to play footy. For the first half, it was the way Fremantle wanted to play footy. Should be very interesting. Fife smothered off the boot, ricochets to Cunnington. Cunnington across to Ferrito, drives it towards the outer side. McPhee goes back, gets an obliging bounce, looks right across the ground, daring kick, and a good one too, taken by De Boer. Plenty of Fremantle players around him. De Boer out wide, Crowley. Walters is on for the short one, but no, he's closed down now. So Crowley, nothing much on. Suddenly North working a lot harder. Kick down the line. Clark split the pack. De Boer's over the football. Tackle comes back to Clark. Close quarters. Fife trying to find a way through. That's been the story of his afternoon. Mundy did well. Mzungu back to Fife, working hard in that pack. Snaps it down towards full forward. And the mark is taken by Sandilands.
You said he might go forward, Dennis.
Sandilands, yeah, well, he hasn't played a lot of football, so that's probably where you can, I was going to say hide him. That's not true on 2 levels. You don't want to hide him, you want him to take marks, and he's impossible to hide. And Fife loved his work in that pack. Sandilands comes in, and I think he's got it. He has. Big Sandy.
Big Sandy in a big quarter of footy. How good's this been since half-time? This is really good stuff.
After that loss against Hawthorn, North Melbourne, just reading about it this morning, about the fact that the players sat down with Brad Scott immediately after the game. The other thing that they talked about was they felt that they'd been bullied by Hawthorn that day. Hawthorn had really taken it up to them physically, and they'd been found wanting, and they said that they weren't going to be bullied again. And that's been a hallmark of the way they played and the way they've turned it around since. And I think we're seeing evidence of that again in this third quarter of footy.
Yeah, North refusing to be intimidated after that Hawthorn game. Yeah. So let's see how they respond now. They've been able to get quick goals after the Dockers have scored in this term. It's gone up a level, this match, hasn't it? It was a good first half. There's been a fantastic second stanza so far. So Barlow got a high one. These centre square clearances are going to be so vital. Barlow never gets a lot on the kick. Sandilands just shoved Goldstein out of the way. So Goldstein, who really pulled down Jolly's pants last week, are having his done today. Sandilands to fall forward. Main, good mark at the back by Thompson.
This is the bloke you want out of there. I mean, you've got to be, if he's taking you in that situation, you're the bloke that has to be leading hard at the ball if you can drag him up the ground. He's an inventive player, Thompson.
Yeah, reincarnation, I think, of Nathan Bassett. Well, Bassett's gone nowhere, but you know what I mean. It runs out of bounds out there. He scragged Barry Hall and lived to tell the story.
Norwood Footy Club got very nervous from it. They thought they'd lost their coach.
Well, he's a strange fellow, Bassett. He's capable of anything. Boundary throw in. Like him. Hand pass comes from Ibbotson. Cross towards the boundary, and Fife bounces one inside the forward 50. Over the football, Ballantyne slips a hand pass to Subin, who is flat-footed and run over by McMillan, and the umpire lets them play at least initially. Now there'll be a ball up. Well, Fife just seems to be breaking the shackles a little bit, finding a bit more of the football. Not that the attention has gone anywhere. It's touch, as you can see. There he is again. Fife hooks it down towards full forward, wide of the mark. Ooh. Bounces through for a behind. Matty Fife wearing Ben Allen's old number 7. Ben, Fremantle captain, Hawthorn best and fairest in a premiership here. Unfortunately for Ben, fair to say his knees retired 2 seasons before he did.
He had a couple of fantastic years, didn't he, though?
Oh,
what a great player he was. So Johnson going back to McFarlane. Is that down the ground?
Yep.
So against Petrie, that's a huge blow here for North.
And this is about the niggle that has just started to creep into this game.
There's definitely some heat in it, and Petrie looks frustrated.
It was there, wasn't it? So Walters to have a shot for his 3rd goal here. And this to give Fremantle some breathing space. I'll be back where they were at half-time. North have pushed hard here. He's only 3 goals, 3 from set shots. Most of his 14 goals, including the 2 today, have come from snaps or on the run. So these are the nervy ones. Nothing nervous about that kick. He's had a big day. He's kicked 3, and they pinch a break again.
What he's doing is actually taking a lot of pressure off Ballantyne as well, isn't it? I mean, at one point, you know, Ballantyne was the only small forward that they had, and you shut him down, and effectively you shut Fremantle down at ground level in their forward line. But you know, this bloke's got a couple of tricks. He's got a really good nose for being able to win the ball in tight situations, and we've seen him be clever a couple of times around the ball too. Is
Main, you'd call Main a small forward too, wouldn't you?
Well, I think he's in between, yeah. I think he's their 3rd tall.
Yeah.
Pavlick's not playing, making no inroads there. Drew Petrie. Present time off the board. There's Pav.
Petrie's also 55, Dean.
Okay.
Wow, it's coming back. That was wayward bounce.
Goalless today, Drew. That's the point, I guess.
Sandilands having a massive impact on this game. At the moment, he's had 32 hit-outs to Goldstein's 6 and 4 clearances.
Umpire will do the business again. Getting very testy down there amongst the players. You would think coming off and seeing Brett Kirk on the boundary would be a comforting thing.
They don't
pacify them. Well, with the haircut, of course. Sandilands, Duffield, Crowley kicks it out towards the wing. De Boer came strongly twice. Wright didn't have the footy, no free kick. He was slung out of there. Wright pleads his case, waving his arms, claiming one of them moments before had been held. De Boer gives it to Pearce, kicks inside the forward 50. Delaney was being held.
Clark was trying to do the right thing. He was in a disadvantaged position. All he was attempting to do then was bring the ball to the ground, and that's what he would have been instructed to do. Just make sure that they don't take an uncontested mark, but he infringed in trying to do that.
Good result for North because Pearce was able to get it in quickly. And that's a good result for Petrie.
What they're trying to do now, North Melbourne, is isolate McPhee against Thomas. So all the other forwards have actually pushed up the ground.
So McMillan. Thomas has had a good day. He hasn't had many opportunities. Duffield, that's a good win on Gibson. Gibson quieter today. He's had a fantastic rookie season for an older bloke. Ballantyne, well played Ballantyne. How about the balance? And then McMahon did so well to keep with him. Anthony poking the eye before the game's done him no harm. McMillan, well played. Dawson used the body. Silly handball though. McPhee got in well, and well, a bit lucky McPhee, to be honest.
Threw himself in.
Yeah. And hurt himself, I think, but he was brave, but I'm not sure that he should get a free kick for doing that.
No, that's going to encourage players to do that if that's the case.
Yeah, that's no free kick. Anyway, he got there. What about Dawson's silly handle?
He was barely touched either. I think Thomas did everything humanly possible. Well, he did. He popped him with the knee, but did everything humanly possible not to get him.
If we keep paying free kicks for that, then that's really bad for the game.
Well, it's wonderful commitment. He's sitting up.
There will be accidental and there will be incidental contact in our game, given the nature of our game. He's in a bad way though.
Yeah. And the other player doesn't expect that. I mean, sometimes you expect a commitment. You don't expect that. That is just wonderful stuff. Coach loves to see it, but gee, Thomas really was out of alternatives then.
Yeah, I mean, this could have a critical play a critical part of this game too, because they've already lost Kepler Bradley at half-time. They've got another player now who's obviously very uneasy on his feet, so they may be down to 2 interchange players now, Fremantle.
And this season, McPhee has shown some very good form. Obviously enjoying Ross Lyon. Coming out of the pack, there was De Boer, gave it to Hill. He in turn gave it to Barlow, who kicks it down towards half-forward. Subban, a little give. Mundy lines up. Will it bounce through? Unattended goal. Well, it didn't need to. It carried the line, but just wide of the mark.
Kirky, Hill slowed a little bit in this quarter. Have you noticed anything different about the way they're playing him?
Yeah, he's actually starting outside the square this quarter. So it's the first half he started inside the centre bounces and used his speed to get out through it. But at this side, that time they're actually trying well on the outside. Not sure if it's having as much impact on the quarter.
I thought Garlett might be running with him too.
He's only had 2 disposals, but this is the guy that's picked up, isn't he? 5. So he's filling the void. North with numbers. Getting across was Crowley and a behind. So at the moment, Freo, with Sandilands coming from the ground for a little bit, Freo just on top here. They've had 19 scoring shots to 12. They've got back the ascendancy. McPhee looks okay. I think he'll come back on.
As Smith, they've had to reshuffle their defence, though. Duffield has now gone to Thomas.
So straight down the ground. Johnson did well. Pearce has been prolific. Pearce back to De Boer. De Boer off a step. Well, McMahon sits and waits, and he's a brave player, McMahon. He wasn't going to shirk anything, and he didn't have to worry too much there.
He's been resolute, hasn't he, again today. Delaney. I wonder whether Grimer will come back. McMillan. Hopefully he does. Grimer was developing nicely. Bastanak on the outer side.
It's where they've been good, though, Fremantle all day. Just being able to... North Melbourne have been able to get to central wing position, and then they've been able to hold them up and just stop the flow or slow the flow.
Very well drilled, Fremantle. McMillan. Fife launches himself in front, off hands. Nice little shimmy from Duffield, hard against the boundary line. Does he manage to keep it in? He does, but McMillan gets back to take the mark. Delaney. They've got the odd number here, and they work it out, although Wright put Delaney under pressure. Comes back in his direction, stolen away by Ballantyne. Ballantyne 40 metres out, low trajectory kick, almost Main reaching over the top. Correct weight, coming through McMahon, hand passes straight to Hill. Hill goes back to the goal square. Main goes in and kicks it. Good stuff.
That is typical Dockers footy, isn't it? They just work their way through that situation so cleverly, I reckon.
And the zipper Ballantyne can't be underestimated. No. I mean, he is just a live wire. He attracts people to him and creates space for other players. I think part of the reason might be, Tim, they want to snot him.
He could have blazed there too, Dennis, couldn't he? But he just kicked the ball to the top of the square.
It was the forward pressure that created that goal. It was the running, the chasing, the tackles. Really, that frontal pressure that Fremantle are putting the Kangaroos defenders under a huge amount of pressure.
And Kirky, it's 10 inside 50s to 0 since the Harper goal for North with that 50-metre penalty. They're dominating here. They've kicked 3-3 to nothing, and this is close to the biggest margin of the day. It was 19 points early in the match, and we've got it back to 18 here. So big question marks now on the Kangaroos. And the scoreboard's lopsided. It's 8-4 to 10-10. Normally tells the tale, doesn't it? So Zeebel's free, and the advantage to Swallow, to Garlett. Garlett, that was a good kick. Gee, that was instinctive, wasn't it? Well, this will test Lindsay. We've talked about he's had the magic potion with his set shots, and there's no question he's got rid of all the horrors, the yips, whatever you want to call them, in terms of set shots for goal. This time last year, he wouldn't make the distance.
This could have gone anywhere last year.
He's kicked 15 goals, 6 from set shots this year. He's kicked 2 goals today, 35 for the year. Yeah. And I reckon he's about a 70% chance to kick this goal.
Zeebel saw too.
Well, sometimes 70% doesn't always work. Anyway, he missed a big one, and Zeebel, that's even a bigger story. So he's had just a day, hasn't he?
No, he hasn't been a starter, though.
Here's Johnson. Decides to carry it. Kicks it up towards the wing. Beautiful kick. Fife. So where's he now in terms of his stats? He's pushing it up. He's suddenly got 22. That's a workman-like 22 because he's been under the pump. Hard man to run with, though, because he does too many things well to take him out completely.
We've talked about the importance of the midfield battle. Definitely Fremantle have got the points at the moment.
9 possessions to Fife in this quarter. Crashes in again. Cunnington's over the football. And the umpire, no alternative but to bounce it. I think it's Ibbotson at the base of that pack. Fremantle last played in the final back in 2010. Played 2 finals that year, defeated Hawthorn in an elimination, and then lost to Geelong the following week. One down by Sandlands. Too premature to call they're going back to the finals just yet. Crowley bounces one out of bounds down towards the pocket. It'll be thrown in, but North Melbourne already there. And if Fremantle do make it, that would be great to see both these clubs in the finals. North, their season in tatters after that game in Launceston. It's taken remarkable resolve by all concerned to get them back to this point. Spur feeds it wide. Duffield across the body. Havilis bounce. Well, it doesn't get a chance to. Ferrino got his fingertips to it. Trying to get out. Just lays it off to McMillan. High ball outside the 50. Well, Harper was up. He was trying to do the same thing as the men behind him. It was punched forward. Eventually comes to Swallow. Swallow around the outer side to Tarrant.
Gee, it was a good kick.
Well, Tarrant's been the best of their 3 tall forwards this afternoon by a long way.
Agreed. Yet he has, ironically, he hasn't got a goal and Hanson's got 2, but you're right. Petrie without a goal as well. So off a step, Hanson. On again. Petrie's big fly. Spur at the back. Pressure on him. He wants either the Duffield or the boundary line. Duffield runs it over. Boundary throw. And Dennis, just on North Melbourne, remember the Dockers too. I mean, Kevin Bartlett said they were unwatchable. After they lost to West Coast earlier this year, they were on the nose too, weren't they? So their recovery has also been quite remarkable.
Usually a very good judge, KB. Don't know what happened that day. Maybe they were.
They had some low scores and were getting beaten, so sometimes that's not good to watch, is it? So Garlett to the pocket.
Johnson again. See the body work before the ball arrived. I mean, they are so good at just being able to move those big forwards off the line of the ball and make it so much easier for somebody then to come in and take an uncontested mark.
So Duffield short to McPhee. So McPhee's made a terrific recovery.
Also, Bruce, it'll take some time for the Dockers to learn a new game plan. There's no doubt they probably did go a bit too defensive initially.
Are they reminding you at all of what you were doing at Sydney, the way you're playing, Brent?
There's no doubt. I think if you start to put a defensive mechanism into your game, every player will go to defence first, and then you have to still learn the balance. And I think they're starting to get that now between defence and attack.
And even when he went to St Kilda, it was really about round 16 before the Saints really started to grasp his game plan first year.
In fairness, he made that point, didn't he? Betting it down. Here's Hanson, slips a hand pass away deep in the pocket. Harper! Oh, good effort. That's why he's there. He can kick.
Gee, Crowley's done a good
goal.
Sorry, Dennis. Crowley's done a really good job on Harvey. He's had 13 touches, Harvey, but he hasn't been able to provide that real run and spark and ball carry in the midfield where he's able to chip and then go forward again, receive the handball. He brings so many other players into the game by the way he plays, Harvey, but Crowley's done a great defensive job on him.
McPhee kicks it beyond the wing. Clark is the target. Takes the mark virtually uncontested. Delaney didn't put any pressure on at all. Here's Fife once more. Not his best effort. Kicked it straight into White. White grabs it, kicks it back. Storming up the ground is Hanson. Standing his ground with a lot of courage was Pearce. Not that he had many options. And now it's going to be a free kick and it will go to Harvey. We've seen this before. He scuttles away, does Harvey. Runs to 50. Long kick. Havilis bounce. Just goes across the line and through for a minor score. He is remarkable. He's been in stellar form in recent weeks. At 34 years of age, says he wants to play again next season. I think Shady's wife must feel she's married to Peter Pan. There's McFarlane.
He's taking a little bit of a haircut to do that too, apparently.
The deal was done, I think, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah.
Slight reduction in wages, apparently, but I don't think he's too worried about... Well, I don't know, but I don't think he'd be too worried about that.
That would have hurt him. I reckon he's very, very careful with his money. I reckon he turns his car off when he's driving down hills.
Mundy runs it out. Well, I don't know that much about him, but anyway.
I told you Ross Lyon works his staff hard, didn't I, Tim?
Anyway.
No secret is safe here.
Oh, no, I admire that, actually. I'm not having a crack at him.
I know you do.
So he's 13 on the all-time list of games played, Harvey. If he plays next year and plays them all, he gets into about the top 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
remarkable.
It's not ridiculous to think that he may get to give 400 a bit of a fright, because if he could slink a couple...
You're lying on top of him.
Anyway,
Free kick.
Zeebel's free kick. Who've won the battle in close to him? Has it been the Dockers or the...
I reckon the Dockers have just showed... I mean, clearance-wise, it's pretty close at the moment, 29 to 27, but I think Fremantle had more of the activity inside.
Gee, Wright and Zeeble, they took a while to work all that out, and they didn't... Well, that's out on the full. So that was a bit messy.
But they've forced them really wide again. I mean, that's been a feature of the game. I know we keep harping on this, but they've been so good defensively, Fremantle. And coming into this game, one of the things that North Melbourne were able to do was put those chains of possession from half back right forward to be able to score, and they've really shut that down.
Everton gave it to Duffield, who breaks away, goes down towards half forward. Well done, De Boer. Created some space. It turned out for himself as he went back after it. Stolen away by Atley. Mundy hard to beat in that situation. Did him dead to rights. Now they take advantage. De Boer to Hill to McPhee. That was terrific. Well done, David Mundy.
And great play then by Hill too. He looked up. There was nothing deep to go to. He had one option. It was a bloke coming straight at him. And then he had the time and he had the poise and he had the ability to execute.
Hill up to 22 now. Well, if he gets to the high 20s, you know you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Have they been dinkum with him, do you think? No reason why they wouldn't be, North.
Yeah. Well, they just didn't go with the hard tag. Lots of sides just put their best tag on him and just make sure that they shut him out of the game.
So McPhee from right on the 50. Kick is on the way. Huge kick this one. Finals implications. It clears the pack. It's a goal. He's got two. Down on his knees moments ago, and suddenly he's got the supporters on their feet.
Well, great call, Dennis. So no goals for McPhee in 17 games before today. And he's made a huge contribution in a tough match. And now they get the big lead of the day.
I reckon his footy's been tightened too by Rossi Lyon. I reckon.
Structured,
he's turned him into a better player. I reckon there were parts of his game that were really loose, and he's just he's taken the sandpaper to him and he's just given him a nice old buff.
220 games, big career, isn't it? Was all Australian at one stage, McPhee, but right now you feel like he's in the best form of his life, don't you?
Yeah, no, he's become a really valuable player for him.
So 2 goals, well done, Sandilands, beautiful tap. 2 goals, McPhee, today without a goal coming in this season. Of course, playing down back. Johnson, after Zeeble got it. Good tackle, Hanson. Johnson's been supreme down there. Down low was Dawson. McPhee maybe got one in the eye. North pushed forward hard. Crowley's been very, very good on Harvey. Harvey's had moments. Spur. Back he goes to Hill, having a terrific day. Ferrito, well, Wright gave away a free kick. That was silly. In the back of De Boer. Ferrito had it anyway. And is that 50?
Should be.
Yep. It's not, but yeah, Wright just didn't need to do that. Gee, haven't the Dockers won the mind games in this quarter, I reckon?
They've been very good. Well, they've been very good all day. They've played the game the way they wanted to play it. It's 3-quarter time, and North Melbourne, if they're looking to consolidate their 14th win, they've got a bit of work to do. Fremantle 11-10, North 8-7 on Sunday Football.